FHS season tickets.
Welcome into another episode of FHS Season Tickets. I'm Michael.
And I'm Nick. I'm Miles.
And today we're going to be talking about the NBA. Starting off, first topic, we're going to be talking about Eric Bledsoe being traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Miles, Nick, which one you want to discuss trade first?
Yeah, I mean, Eric Bledsoe has been really devalued over the last year by not playing, by being held out last year and then held out pretty much like the Phil Jackson strategy of devaluing assets is what the Suns were pulling right there. So Bledsoe, a huge addition. I would have liked him on the Cavs too, and he would have been a big part of that Josh Jackson first round pick trade that everyone was saying would have been a great trade. So him probably being the main part of that early on was shows his worth to the his worth of what he can actually do for a team and a franchise. And I don't know. I still want Giannis to run the point because I just think a 7-foot point guard is deadly at any aspect of it, and he's been doing well. But Eric Bledsoe won't hurt that team, and Milwaukee's looking like a great team if they can put it all together. Miles, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a really incredible help for the Bucks. I think they're going to easily have a shot at going for the 3 or 4 seed in the East this year. And with Bledsoe's defense, I really think that he can work well with Giannis. We're talking about a team that is going to be able to stop the ball in transition and in the fast break. And to get down to the math of the trade, we had Bledsoe going to the Bucks, and then we had Greg Monroe and a first and second rounder to the Suns. Mike, I wanted to know if you thought that was a win for either team, and we'll get into that a little bit.
Well, I like how Nick mentioned the Phil Jackson philosophy of devaluing assets because they just completely ruined Eric Bledsoe's trade value. And for what Eric Bledsoe was worth at this point after all the mistakes the Suns made, I don't think it's horrible value for them. They got Greg Monroe, who's not really going to do anything for them. He's just salary to fill in for the time being, and then they're going to get a pick that's going to be in the mid-20s. It's not going to come in this year because there are some protections on the pick. The only way they get the pick this year is if it's between 11 and 16, and that would mean the Bucks would have to miss the playoffs or be an 8th seed, and I don't see that happening. So, and then
they protected that pick to the moon. First round pick.
So it's probably going to convey in 2020 when the Bucks are probably going to be a top 3 seed in the East in that season, and that means it's going to be at pick like 26, 27, somewhere around there. So it's not really a great.
So they
first
traded
round
a
pick value.
27th pick, right? So basically.
Yeah, 27th pick that comes in 2 years. That's the worst part about it. So
They basically got nothing from the trade.
yeah,
That's what Mike said.
hey, Kyle Kuzma went around there. So
Like they need to draft young players this season and next season. They can't be.
well, they already have so many people on rookie contracts that they don't want to have like so many people that you're going to need to extend contracts at one time because then you're going to get some difficulty structuring your cap if everyone comes off their rookie deals at one time. So it does make sense that they would want the pick in 2020, but I'm not sure what the value of getting the Bucks pick in 2020 really is because the Bucks are most likely going to be a great team unless somehow Giannis gets hurt that season and a bunch of other factors happen that we're not assuming. But even if that happens, the Bucks still have it protected from picks 1 to 7. So
I thought James Jones was gonna turn that franchise around. I thought the champ was gonna go with that front office of the Suns and get them the championship this year.
People talk about LeBron's final streak.
James
Nobody
Jones
mentions
came to
James
an end.
Jones.
It's coming to an end. The Suns, unless Booker goes off.
Well, isn't he in the front office?
What? Unless Booker goes off.
Yeah, James Jones.
Yeah, it's still a streak, man.
No,
if he's on the team, I'm saying
Yeah, he's got that locker room
it's
talk
still a streak.
He's gonna come out and
If
he's gonna sign with the Cavs in like March.
If James Jones went to the finals with the Suns, I would give it to him as a streak still. I would say,
Oh yeah,
send the streak.
Dude, get to the final on the Suns. You actually earned it.
The 9 seasons, great baby, or 8 or whatever it is.
That'd be insane. But with the Bucks, But Nick, I like how you mentioned how Giannis is still going to be a running point. I'm going to be interested to see how often Eric Bledsoe does bring the ball up the floor and runs transition for the Milwaukee Bucks. It obviously doesn't hurt to have another ball handler, but Malcolm Brogdon was just so comfortable running that point guard role where he really never brings the ball up the floor, and really Giannis was the point forward. He really fit that system really well, so it's going to be interesting to see how Eric Bledsoe, a guy who's more talented individually than Malcolm Brogdon, especially on the offensive end, fits into this system as he's been used to having the ball in his hands. And also it's going to be interesting to see how Eric Bledsoe plays in a contender, because really, has he ever made the playoffs yet in his career?
The Clippers.
You made it with the Clippers? All right. I wasn't sure if that was before they made the playoffs. Now he was there.
Mike, he was like
balling out.
Backed up Chris Paul, man.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sure he didn't do anything in the playoffs. Nick's just gonna walk out. I messed up those facts.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about the trade before we talk about our next topic?
No, I think
The next topic we're going to be talking about kind of has to do with the Bucks, but it's mostly about the Cavs, talking about how the Cleveland Cavaliers have struggled against all the really bad teams, but against the Eastern Conference, we're assuming playoff teams, the Cavs have been really good. Well, Nick, why do you think the Cavs have been struggling against the bad teams? It's just a lack of focus, and why have they been losing teams like the Nets and the Hawks and then been beating the Celtics and Bucks?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of focus just because they're not ready for the defense when it comes to the bad teams. Like, they're not going to be willing to hunker down on defense, which is kind of annoying for the viewer because they look really bad when they're getting blown out by 20 by like the Pacers, Hawks, like all these random bad teams that we just make. Austin Carr said it best one broadcast. We make superstars out of like average players at best. Like, there was this guy on the Hawks named like Shamar Taylor or something. Never heard of him before in my life, and he's dropped like 20, like 15, in like one quarter or something.
Really?
I've
never heard of this dude.
Maybe it looked like that much, but dude, it was. We make superstars out of average to bad players, and it really is annoying, and it's all because of the defensive focus, and defense in general.
I have a few things to say. I mean, for one, I don't think the Cavs play as fast as some of these young teams, and yeah, these young teams aren't going to be in the playoffs, but they are going to be fast, they're going to be young, and they're going to be hungry to get any sort of stat or win that they can. And another thing is, the Cavs don't come into the game with that mentality that I see out of like Russell and like, even the Rockets with James Harden and all that. I just don't see any sort of like eager to like go out there and like literally step on someone. Like, all I see is them going out to play and wait for the playoffs. I don't like that mentality. I don't think it'll get them ready in fast enough time. I know LeBron's been there his whole time, and a lot of the guys on the team have, but they got to play together and know how to play together, and that's where you use the regular season. I think it's a key factor. Mike, what do you have to say?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how significant these struggles are and if they do continue throughout the season. I like how you mentioned how young teams typically play a little bit faster brand of basketball, and how the Cavs have kind of been slowing down recently with a bit of an older team. And also, when you just look at the losses that the Cavs have been having, it's not like their offense has been doing. So continuing back on my point, Nick, what do you think the Cavs are going to be doing come playoff time against these teams? Do you think they're going to have the same success that they've been having so far?
Michael, I think that we're going to sweep the first round. They'd go a close one loss game series, and then when it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think we're going to go 4-0.
Whoa. Yeah, we're going to get swept by the New Jersey Nets that don't exist anymore.
The New Jersey Nets.
Don't exist anymore.
Well, Michael, what do you think that's going to happen come playoff time?
I think the Cavs are going to be the 10 seed, and we're going to get the first. We're going to get the first and the second pick.
Yeah, Cavs are going to make the playoffs, believe it or not. I have them coming in at the 8th seed with a perfect 500 record.
Perfect.
And they sweep every team, and then they meet the Celtics in the last round, and then LeBron just straight whips out a knife and kills Kyrie. Like, I don't know why. He had some hidden anger in there. They sweep the Celtics, and it's over. By the way, they have Gordon Hayward, and in the first quarter, Gordon Hayward goes up for a layup and breaks his ankle. Again, he breaks it again. That's my prediction.
Dude, imagine Gordon Hayward coming back after not playing the whole season.
He's due back February.
Okay.
The last thing we're going to be talking about is the greatest regular season team of all time, the greatest defensive team of all time, the Boston Celtics?
I mean, they're actually pretty consistent, way more than I ever thought they would be. Like, transferred from last year, like, they're probably going to get the first seed, honestly. Like, I can't see us catching up at this point, even though it's early on. Like, 9 wins in a row, I don't see them ever having, like, too much, like, a straight, like, 5 losses like we had against some trash teams, because we had a hard schedule coming up soon, so. Yeah, honestly, I see them securing the first seed. I was pretty wrong with them in the carryover that they're going to take, at least in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't agree more. I mean, they're definitely looking like a better team than the first game we saw them, and they just had to react with that big injury. And I knew Tatum was going to change. I knew he was going to get a little bit better, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's still a rookie though, so you got to factor that in. I can't see him going to the finals, but they are definitely going to take that first seed. And Kyrie is probably putting the team in that standpoint that we want the Cavs in, where they go out and they want to like literally step on people. We can't quite get that, so Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting how much success the Boston Celtics have had as a team defensively, with a lot of their minutes at the wing coming from guys in either their first or second season. You talk about Jaylen Brown, guy you mentioned, Jason Tatum, also Semi Ojeleye has been playing some big minutes off the bench for Boston. Don't be laughing at
Semi Ojeleye.
He's had a really solid season.
Oh, I called it.
Sam Massini was
Kyrie playing defense.
Yeah, that's another thing. Kyrie's been a much better defender. You can talk about that being in Brad Stevens' better defensive system, but also it's a lot about effort too, and Kyrie looks to be a lot more committed on the defensive end. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up this video? That'll wrap it up for this episode of FHS Season Tickets. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more season ticket videos.